Before we start, think about the last time you said yes to something small, then found yourself agreeing to something much bigger. Keep that in mind as we go through this. But here's the thing, you didn't even realize it was happening. To the charity worker on the street, they're all using the same psychological principle to get you to say yes to things you never intended to agree to. They wanted to understand something that had puzzled researchers for years. Why do people sometimes agree to unreasonable requests? In the first group, they made a large, unreasonable request right away. They asked homeowners to install a huge, ugly drive-safely billboard in their front yard. But simply by getting people to say yes to something small first, they increased compliance by over 300%. This wasn't a fluke. They replicated this study multiple times with different requests, and the pattern held. They had discovered something fundamental about human psychology. You try it, it's decent, you say thanks. Then the employee says, since you enjoyed it, would you like to buy a box? They're on special today. You're significantly more likely to purchase because you've already engaged with the product and accepted something from them. Predictably, only 17% of people agreed. But here's where it gets interesting. As humans, we have a deep psychological need to appear consistent with our previous actions and statements. You become someone who cares about the environment. When you accept that free sample, you become someone who tries new products. When you create that free account, you become a user of this platform. This shift in self-perception is subtle but powerful. When we say yes to a small request, we unconsciously start to see ourselves as the type of person who supports that cause or engages in that behavior. Your brain thinks, wait, I just identified myself as someone who cares about this cause. We're wired to be consistent because, evolutionarily, consistency helped us build trust and maintain social relationships. Then they ask you to share a post, then attend a virtual event, then make a small donation, then volunteer for a few hours, then make a larger donation. Each step builds on the previous commitment, but in our modern world, this natural tendency is being weaponized against us by marketers, salespeople, and manipulators who understand exactly how to trigger it. Defense system, a method I've developed after years of studying manipulation psychology. This 5-step framework will help you recognize and resist foot-in-the-door manipulation. Once you've granted that, they ask for location data, then contacts, then notification permissions. Companies spend millions of dollars researching the perfect progression of requests to maximize compliance. You're not just facing random manipulation, you're up against scientifically optimized psychological warfare. Each yes makes the next yes more likely, because you've already established yourself as someone who trusts this app. If I don't donate now, that makes me inconsistent, maybe even hypocritical. What situations did you encounter when someone asks for your email, wants you to sign something, or offers you something free? Recognize these as potential foot-in-the-door setups. Second, practice the P.A.U.S.E system. Even if you end up saying yes, the act of pausing and thinking through the framework will strengthen your awareness and decision-making skills. When someone makes any request, even a small one, take a moment. You don't need to become paranoid or suspicious of everyone. You just need to be conscious of when this technique is being used so you can make truly informed decisions. The goal isn't to say no to everything. It's to say yes only when you genuinely want to, not because you've been psychologically maneuvered into it. If someone wants your email just for updates, ask yourself what they might really be after. If this video opened your eyes to how often this technique is used around you, please share it with someone who needs to see it. And subscribe for more content about recognizing and defending against psychological manipulation. Remember, knowledge is power, but only if you use it. Don't respond immediately. This breaks the automatic compliance response. To resolve this discomfort, your brain pushes you toward the yes, because it maintains consistency with your previous action. Once you are signed up and using the basic features, they hit you with upgrade prompts. Unlock premium features for just $9.99 a month. You're more likely to upgrade because you've already committed to being a user of their platform. Amazon Prime started with free shipping on orders over $25, a small commitment to try their service. Once you experience the convenience, they introduced the annual membership. Now they have over 200 million Prime subscribers paying $139 per year. Judge every new request on its own merits, not based on what you've agreed to before. Your past yes doesn't obligate you to future yeses then. Once you've said yes, They leveraged that initial commitment to get you to agree to something much bigger. Once you started watching shows and created your viewing history, canceling felt like losing something you'd invested in. Their retention rate after the free trial is over 90%, and it works because of a fundamental principle of human psychology. Hi, would you mind signing this petition to help protect the environment? It's easy, costs nothing, so you do it. Later, they target you with ads, asking you to buy their products that support the cause. You're more likely to purchase because you've already publicly shown support for their mission. It's a reasonable cause. Takes 2 seconds, so you sign. Then comes the real request. Great. Since you care about the environment, would you consider making a monthly donation of $25? Suddenly, you're much more likely to donate because you've already identified yourself as someone who supports environmental causes. In the second group, they first made a small, reasonable request. They asked people to put a tiny B, a safe driver sign in their window. Most people said yes to this small request. Then, 2 weeks later, they came back and asked these same people to install the large billboard. The results were shocking. 76% agreed. That's more than 4 times higher than the control group. So they designed a brilliant experiment that would change our understanding of human compliance forever. And the scariest part, it works because it hijacks a fundamental aspect of human psychology that we can't easily turn off. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how this technique works, reveal the famous study that discovered it, and most importantly, teach you my P.A.U.S.E defense system so you can protect yourself starting right now. There's a psychological technique that's been used on you thousands of times throughout your life, and it's so subtle, so seemingly innocent, that most people never see it coming. It's called the foot in the door technique. And after studying behavioral psychology for over a decade, I can tell you that this is one of the most powerful and widely used manipulation methods in existence. Yesterday, you were manipulated, and the day before that, and probably 3 times already today. From the moment you wake up and check your phone to the store clerk who asks for your email, the story begins in 1966 with psychologists Jonathan Friedman and Scott Fraser. Here's what they did. They went door to door in a California neighborhood with 2 different approaches. Think about that for a moment. The exact same unreasonable request. Example 1. The charity petition. You're walking through the mall when someone approaches with a clipboard. Example 2. The free sample trap. You're at Costco and they offer you a free sample of their new protein bar. Example 3. The subscription escalation. A website offers you a free account. Just enter your email. Example 4. The social media commitment. A brand asks you to like their post about a social cause. Notice the pattern. Small, reasonable request first. The foot in the door technique works because it exploits 2 powerful psychological principles: commitment and consistency. Here's what happens in your brain. When you sign that environmental petition, you don't just sign a piece of paper. You unconsciously update yourself. Then, when the larger request comes, saying no creates what psychologists call cognitive dissonance, an uncomfortable mental conflict. This isn't a character flaw. It's how human psychology works. Let me show you how major companies use this technique systematically. Netflix began with a free trial. Just enter your credit card. Cancel anytime. Political campaigns use this constantly. They start by asking you to sign up for their newsletter. A tiny commitment. Even apps on your phone use this. They ask for basic permissions first. Access to your photos to enhance your experience. The key insight here is that these aren't isolated incidents. They're carefully designed sequences. Now that you understand how this technique works, let me teach you my P.A.U.S.P. A. Ask yourself, what might come next? Consider whether this small request might be setting you up for a larger one. You understand your true motivation. Are you saying yes because you genuinely want to, or because you feel pressured to be consistent with the previous action? Set clear boundaries. Decide in advance what you're willing to commit to, and stick to those limits regardless of previous small commitments. Evaluate each request independently. Remember, saying no to a larger request doesn't make you inconsistent or hypocritical. It makes you thoughtful and Try the P.A.U.S.E system this week and let me know in the comments how it worked for you. Here's your action plan for this week. First, start noticing small requests in your daily life. Third, Remember that awareness is your best defense. Understanding the foot in the door technique doesn't just protect you from manipulation, it also helps you understand your own decision-making patterns and become more intentional about your choices.